Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish, time after time. For that is your fate, the fate of the cursed.
How's it going, everybody? It is ElysianCastaic, and this is Dark Souls 2. As you all know, I'm also doing Dark Souls 1, so this is going to be in conjunction with that. I'm going to be trying to compare some lore, if possible, although Draenric does not seem to be anything like Anor Londo. So we start off looking pretty ragged. No weapons, no equipment, nothing. And yet we have full control of our character. Our health bar looks like it's at half of what it should be. And we are in things betwixt. Kind of a limbo between the outside world and Drain Lake. I do apologize for any hitches that you see in the video. My computer tends to do that. These little guys, you might be tempted to give them a punch. Don't do it. Just don't. Don't do it. Although you do want to come over here. Get a little sprint on. Over here. Get yourself a rusted coin. This temporarily boosts your luck. An old rusted coin. Crushing the coin temporarily boosts luck. This rusted coin gives you that little extra bit of luck, making items and the like easier to find. The coin is engraved with the image of a god that was worshipped in ancient times, but no one knows its true origins. Could this be the copper coin from Dark Souls 1? It's possible. I do believe that there are other types of rusted coins that you can get. Don't worry about the growling. These guys are known as kobolds. They will not harm you unless you hurt them first. Let's continue our little exploration, shall we? What's this? Tree. Growing way up into the dark. Got a bridge. Got a little key. You should take one look at this and go back that way. You don't want to deal with that right now. You need a weapon before you do that. There's an item right there. It's an easy way to get to it, right across this bridge. Come over here. These vines hide cleverly it's like that. And we're able to get a smooth and silky stone. Small, smooth and silky stone. There are several different variations of this, and they are your trading item for this game. A small, smooth, and silky stone used to slightly restore HP. Don't use it for that. You'll get better items for that later on. The shine of this stone is no ordinary polish. It can only be achieved over a long period. Some in this land are in search of such stones, and that is very true. You will see some of them fairly soon. Hello, old ladies.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse.
It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed.
What is your name?
Alright, try to recall your name. So I'll take one answer for that. ElysianCastaic. That is my name.
At least you know your own name. Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
Take a closer look.
Who do you think it's supposed to be? Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
And now we finally get to choose what we look like. So, first off, class. I'm going with the Knight on this build. In my Dark Souls 1 Let's Play, I chose the Warrior. Actually, did I? Yeah, I chose the Warrior because he had a long sword and shield. The Knight had like full Knight armor and stuff, but I didn't really like the weapons he had, I believe. This time I'm going with the Knight. He only starts with a broadsword, but the broadsword is a very good weapon. I also start with no shield, but we'll be able to get one of those pretty quickly once we get the Majula. The other things that you can do, Swordsman, you can see is dual wielding. There is dual wielding in Dark Souls 2. The Bandit starts out with an axe, and you can't quite see it, but up in the top right hand corner you can also see that he starts with a bow and some arrows. Cleric is your typical holy character who casts miracles and such. Sorcerer, magic user, pretty standard. First time I played Dark Souls 2, I tried to be a sorcerer, and I didn't realize that your spells had a limited number of uses, and I died pretty quick. Explorer starts with some equipment that allows him to find items easier, but he only starts out with a knife, and he does come with bolts by the look of it, but he has no crossbow. So, yeah. He also starts out with some pretty good items as well. Deprived, you start out with absolutely nothing, and we're not doing that. We're going to go with Knight. And for the gift, I'm going to go ahead and choose a Bonfire Aesthetic, and I'll be using that at a later time. And I'm just going to pretty much speed through this. And there we go. That is my character, and believe it or not, he looks kind of like me if I were a bit older and more well built.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance.
Well, you never know.
Very humorous old ladies, aren't they?
Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom.
But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
You brush your teeth, lady. And the reason we're getting this screen right here is because I have DLC content. Basically, it's just all the items that you get for having the DLC. All the weapons. I'm not going to be using those. We do get a catalyst and some shields, but I'm not going to use any of them. I am actually going to equip that, I believe. What's my roll? Pretty quick. If I equip that hat, it's a little bit of extra defense. Looks horrible. And actually, let's see here. That's the same as if I had the gloves. So let's go ahead and equip the Clockwork gloves again. We're gonna rock it like this for now. Until we get a shield, we're gonna pretty much rock it like this the whole way to the hub. And here we got a human effigy. Now this is basically like your humanity items from Dark Souls 1. A warm, soft, shadow-like effigy. Use this item to reverse hollowing. It also weakens the links to other worlds, preventing invasions and most cooperation. Basically, if you don't want to do a lot of online stuff for a certain area, use one of these. Peer closely at an effigy and one begins to perceive a human form. But whose form it takes depends on the person looking. Kind of like us, when we were looking at it, we saw ourselves. If somebody else were to look at it, they'd see themselves. We also got some life gems. Small stone made up of crystallized souls. Gradually restores a small amount of HP. Often found near abandoned corpses, as if it were what remains of the soul. Now this bonfire ascetic that I started out with, tossing this into a bonfire strengthens nearby foes. Once the bonfire ascetic is devoured by the flames, its effects can never be reversed. Be prepared before using this perilous ember. Fire exhibits a connection to the curse, and when the flames grow stronger, so does the curse. What this does is in Dark Souls 2, enemies have a limited number of respawns. They can only be killed about 12 times in an area before they stop respawning completely, so it makes farming for souls a little bit more difficult. However, if you use this bonfire ascetic in a bonfire near an area you've completely cleared out, the enemies will start to respawn, and some other ones will start spawning as well. Essentially what this does is it puts an area into New Game Plus mode. So you can get some of those rare items that are only acquirable in New Game Plus a little bit earlier if you're willing to take the risks. We have a black separation crystal, a symbol of farewells that has been passed down since time immemorial. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes, or sends you back to yours. Whether ending in hope or despair, encounters are valuable experiences. Beware fickle use of this item. If you have somebody helping you in an area, if you summon the phantom, use this item, you will send them away. Bone of Order, online play item. You will be punished for fleeing from other worlds by disconnecting unjustly. However, this charm will disperse the ire directed at you. The sins are not easily buried, and there's no telling if you will be let off so easily next time. Each encounter in life is a precious turn of fate, and fate will not be cheated. I honestly don't know what this item does. I've never used it before because I don't play online. And small smooth stuff. We also got our broadsword. This straight sword is sufficient in most respects and effective in most situations if wielded properly. Those who aspire to master the sword are certain to wield this at some point during their journey. And we're going to be using this for quite a bit in the opening area until I get what I call my main sword. It's the first great sword that we get, and I'm not going to go through any of those. We haven't gotten any new shields. We did get some armor though. Domestic armor worn by the Volgan falconers. Domestic Volgan soldiers are infamously timid, and so it is no wonder that this fierce band of mercenary falconers was hired to compensate. In practice, they serve as bodyguards for the affluent elites, and they serve well, such that nobody dares scrutinize their backgrounds. Imported tunic. Traveler's tunic won't provide much in the way of protection. The cursed souls who wander the lands have a strange way of ending up here, as if drawn from afar by some force. That also is possibly a reference to Anor Londo, where the chosen undead, or undead in general, are always traveling to the land of ancient lords, Londor, or Anor Londo. And that's to try and break the curse, which is what we're trying to do. So, could Drainlink be Anor Londo? Maybe. And pretty much the same. These are DLC items. We're not going to use those right now. Not going to go over those until we get to the DLC section. Can't break the table. Dang it. Moving on. Drop down here. And there's one more person here that we haven't talked to yet.
This is a limbo. A link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveller, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom.
This is the Handmaiden.
My name is Millibeth.
Millibeth.
The old women were once firekeepers. I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on.
Very interesting. The old women were once firekeepers, and now they apparently seem to be retired. In Dark Souls 1, it was never mentioned that firekeepers could retire, but I guess so.
The old women would keep but now, and the kingdom.
Oops, I didn't mean to speak to the Emperor. We're just gonna go ahead and move on. Here we have our first bonfire. Bonfire lives. And our first item. Give me it. Thank you. Soul of the Lost Undead and a torch. In this game, you can light your torch by pressing the toggle button on a bonfire and light the torch. I have my brightness turned up, so there's not really going to be much use for torches in this game. But you can use it to light these sconces here, and then you can light your torch at the sconce again if you want to. These little fog gates are for the tutorial area, and I'm going to go ahead and essentially speed run through the tutorial area, because there's a couple of items that you can get for doing stuff. And it's presets. And you're dead. And you're dead. These guys are really easy to kill. If you're also playing as the knight, two-handed weapon, one strong attack can usually take most of these guys out. Yeah, no, you're there. Okay. They don't tend to drop anything. I believe they have a small chance to drop light gems. That's pretty much it. Now that guy down there, there's another one on the other side of those little rocks near that fog gate. We're not going to be fighting him this time through, because I had a lot of trouble fighting him when I was practicing earlier. It is possible we might try and cheese him a little bit, if I can manage to pull that trick off. You are loud and annoying. Right here, this is supposed to teach you how to do backstabs. Backstabbing in Dark Souls 2 is a little different from Dark Souls 1. Very vicious, very powerful combo hits, but it's difficult to land those sometimes. You can see there's a bunch of these sconces around the lighty area if you wish. You don't really get any kind of benefit for doing so. Here we get a dagger. This essentially that's there for deprived character. If you're tired of punching people to death, there's your first weapon. This guy we're gonna rush and take down. He had a bow, so we wanted to kill him. And you. Oh, I thought I missed the pixel. Earlier I was going through my roll. What I was essentially doing is down on the bottom right, you can see I have 19.7 out of 49. That is my equipment load in this game, and I'm at 40%. The lower that number, the faster you roll. And I'm pretty much doing this game's version of a fast roll. Yeah, that's about as fast as it gets. This guy takes 2 hits every time. He's a little bit stronger. He also dual wields. He's got the bow and he's got a weapon in his offhand, so be careful when you get into melee damage. Life gem. Sweet. And here, you want to be careful. There's a drop down, and that actually drops down into nothingness. There's a ladder over here and a crow's nest. This is the location of the trading crows in this game. In Dark Souls 1, it was in the Undead Asylum. Here, what you can do is if you have a small, smooth and silky stone, there are some other items in the game that you can trade with crows. This is the one that you do the most. This time, you can leave an item or drop it down on the ground.
Nice, so smooth.
Yeah, silky smooth.
And immediately, you can pick an item up, and you get an item in return.
Give us smooth.
Yes, you. Give us silky.
Yeah, well, I'll be back. Notice I got a Titanite shard there. Titanite shards are used for weapon enhancement. Let's see, what would be here. Reinforces equipment. Titanite shard used to reinforce equipment. Reinforces equipment up to +3. They changed the scaling of items in this game. I do believe in Dark Souls 1 you need the Titanite shards to upgrade a weapon to +5, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Titanite was discovered in an ancient layer of earth and is said to be a gift of the gods. Titanite of this size has very little power, but it is still a rare find. Yes, so it's really cool that we got our first Titanite right there. And we drop down here to get the soul of a nameless soldier. Which counts with torch. Yeah, you could, but not entirely useful. You get there's really no reward for doing so. And we're gonna go through one of the last two areas right here. This is gonna show us, I believe, how to cut down trees. Oh no, that's the next one. What the? You got nothing on me. Ah, yes, this teaches you the jumping mechanic. If I die here, don't hold it against me. Yeah, you don't jump as far as you do in Dark Souls 1. And it's a lot more dangerous. You have to click the left stick this time. Amber herbs. Oops. Amber herb. This item actually restores spell uses. An annual herb with an amber color so deep it gives the impression of luminescence. Restores a small number of spell uses. It is the mistaken belief of many that the flowers of this herb do not blossom. However, small white flowers do blossom during dusk when the moon is visible. A very useful item for clerics and sorcerers. Whew, it gets me every time. Up we go. You can sprint on ladders in Dark Souls 2, but it drains your stamina very, very quickly. This might not kill the guy. That's not effective either. And you're dead. You notice that I took a little bit of damage from that. Let's go ahead and use left jump. We're going to heal that up. It does heal over time, so it's not as fast as an Estus Flask. However, we don't have one of those yet. Cracked Red Eye Orb, your first invasion item. Invade other worlds. Defeat the master of the world you have invaded to acquire a token of spite. The residual sins of those who have succumbed to dark temptations are contained in the form of the cracked Red Eye Orb. Basically the same as Dark Souls 1. You take on the form of an invader, essentially the same as Dark Wraiths. I don't believe there are any Dark Wraiths in this game. I've never encountered one. You can't find their equipment though, which is kind of cool. Okay, in here, we're already back at the main chamber, in the main area. Let's come over here. Drop down right there. That's kind of strange. Didn't expect that. Here, we got a butthole. Butthole enemy. Right over there. Run over here. Wait for him to shoot. And knock down the tree. cut him down before he can cut you down. Now you got another guy that's down there. I always miss this. Oh, I got him! Ouch! I still got hit by it. There you go. Go ahead and heal up again. And you can heal while walking this time. This is that area where that portal is. Really quiet here. Got an enemy. Just cut him down. There's the ogre. There's another one. Right there. These guys are tough enemies. You do not want to fight them head on. Good thing that you can do is you can bait them both. Just run down there, trigger them, run back inside of here. And you can bait them to attack and then run up and give them a slash. It's really still really dangerous because they still can hit you. And if they hit you with their grab attack, it's pretty much an instant death at this point. So you want to be really careful with that. Another thing that you can do. Footsteps. You knock down this tree. They have a hard time walking on this. Let's see if we can pull this off. So you can kill these guys. You can actually get a special item. Hello. Oh, pick up. Oh, dang it. That's not good. Let's try that again. Come on. Got one more. Oh, he died. He fell off the edge. Are you gonna fall off the edge too, buddy? Or are you gonna come out? This guy I might actually take on now that he's on. Oh, that's their grab attack. You want to be careful of that. Sit. Sit, boy! And I just remember we have one of them. You just want to do this all day long. Ooh. There we go. If you don't like your character being the gender that you choose, hop in there. You'll turn into a different character. You'll go from male to female and female to male. Definitely not touching that right now. That is the sex change coffin. FromSoft included that for people who wanted to change the character's appearance. And there's a way to respec your character in the game. So if you completed the entire game and wanted to, you're going into New Game Plus, you want to start out with a different type of character, change your appearance kind of thing, you can hop in there, change your appearance, and off you go. Now, we've essentially completed the tutorial area. However, there's one enemy that I forgot, and he drops a very, very good ring. We're going to go and get it. We're going to come back over here. We don't need to deal with the kobolds, and I really don't want to try because they are hellish. But we want to go back where I showed you on the turnpike. The camera keeps hitting my sword stream. sure what's going on. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna jump this off. Let's go. Hello, other ogre. Alright, yeah, that's a good boy. Oh. Come on, sit down. Good boy. You can kind of lead him a little bit with his sits. Maybe if you want to go a certain direction, get on one side of him or the other. He'll try to sit in the other direction. Why that is, though. Ooh. Yeah. And we have successfully completed the starting area. And we got the stone ring. Let's check it out. The beloved ring of the gallant shieldless Lothian, formerly of Ferosa. Hits greatly reduce enemy poise. The effect may seem trivial, but for those who comprehend how critical it is to exploit a hole in the enemy's defenses, the significance of this ring will be clear. And it's a straight boost to your poise. It increases your poise by 40 points. If you hit an enemy enough times, you will guard break them, and they will stagger, and you can basically knock them out. Gold pine resin. Straight buff to your items. A rare pine resin with a gold tint. Applies lightning to right hand weapon. The affected weapon inflicts lightning damage for a short time, particularly effective against foes who are resistant to magic and fire. And my gardeners are here. Dang it. We have essentially completed the tutorial, so let's go and get our reward. I do apologize for the loud noise in the background. If you hear that, I apologize. Somebody's using the leaf blower. And to get your reward, it's hard time.
You have proven yourself to the forest. We have little to offer, except perhaps these.
And you get the handmaid's ladle. I don't know why she says these, seeing as she only gives you one item.
May they bring fortune to your journey in some small way.
I believe that's just a translation thing from Japanese to English. But the handmaid's ladle. An ordinary kitchen ladle. He who chooses this as a weapon either faces extenuating circumstances or has an odd sense of humor. If you care for your life, leave this one in the kitchen. That's exactly what we're going to do. Alright, we have completed the tutorial. Let's move on. And there goes my camera again. Let's turn it. Almost like it's shaking a little bit, trying to keep up with the character. Okay, through here. Through this cave. We're heading for the light. It's a long cave. Nothing exciting. There's the light. Get a view of the ocean and a beautiful sunset. And we've arrived in Majula. Guys, I'm going to leave it right here. This is ElysianCastaic. Allow me to say goodbye. And I'll see you in the next Dark Souls 2.